What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today we're going to break down the biggest news and notes from OTAs. Robert Saleh speaks with the media. The New York Jets hit the practice field. Let's get it rocking and rolling. So first and foremost, we start with the Robert Saleh press conference, and he discussed Haason Reddick not being at OTAs. And to me, it kind of feels like he wants a new contract.
Robert, has Haason Reddick been here at all this spring?
He has not.
You know why?
No.
He was pretty, before he left Philly, he was pretty adamant that he wanted a new contract. Has that been relayed to you guys?
I don't know that. I don't know. That'd probably be more of a question for Joe.
Is it, I know it's voluntary, but is it concerning he's new to the program? Is it a concern at all?
No, obviously as a coach, selfishly you want everybody here all the time, but it is voluntary, and I'm thankful for the guys who are here putting in their work, and those are the guys who I'm going to focus on.
Have you had any communication with Haason?
I have not.
Is that unusual?
No. Like I said,
player?
Like I said, for me, I'm focused on the guys who are here, and Haason's a pro. He's been in this league a while. He's produced at a very high level for a long time. He's got his routine. If it makes people feel better, we know where he's at. We know what he's doing, and we know he's working his tail off to get where he needs to get to have a productive 24 season.
As I said in the video yesterday, I am not concerned about Haason Reddick not being there until we get to the mandatory stuff, which is next week. If it gets into training camp, then yes, I am ready to hit the panic button on the holdout. But I think this stems from Haason Reddick wanting a new contract, which again is something that happened last year. Nick Faria, who covers the New York Jets but is also a big Eagles fan, spoke about Haason Reddick not being there last year and making it kind of part of his process. He's not usually an OTAs guy, and I don't think it's something that we should be concerned about yet for the New York Jets with Haason Reddick in the contract. I know that he wants it to get done. I am okay with tacking on an extra year on this one. Maybe it's a 3-year extension with an out after 2 years. That is something that I think is on the table, but he's a pass rusher approaching 30 years old now at this point. You're going to be paying a guy into his 30s. There's always inherent risk with that. Reddick, a little bit of a late bloomer. I'm not saying that the fall off is going to be anything horrific right now. I don't think that is going to be the case, but there's always that thought in the back of your mind with these guys as they flip from 29 into their 30s. Also, Breece Hall working on the side today. Nothing we should be concerned about, according to the head coach.
Is Breece back? Because last week when we were here, we didn't see him doing anything.
He's here. He's just working off on the side.
What's his?
He's just dealing with some lower half stuff, but nothing that we're concerned about.
Later in the press conference, he brought up actually that Breece wants to be an All-Pro this year, and Saleh thinks it's possible. And one of the things that was discussed was Breece Hall's ability as a pass catcher out of the backfield. Now, granted, it took Nathaniel Hackett about half the season to realize that they should use Breece Hall out of the backfield as a pass catcher, but to me, there's no reason that Breece can't be putting up a combined, if he's healthy and playing all 17 games, like 1,700 yards, and that might be on the low end. And that's like absurd to be like, wow, 1,700 all-purpose yards is kind of on the low end for Breece, but like, honestly, 2,000 is not that crazy for him this year. I think it's going to be between the 1,700 and 2,000 all-purpose yards for Breece Hall, which again is absolutely absurd, but he is that good. And he has lofty expectations for himself. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to be the leader of the pack in the running back room this year, at least as the year starts. But if by year end Breece Hall's RB2 in the league, I would not be in the least bit surprised, truly. On the topic of pass-catching running backs, Robert Saleh was asked about Braylon Allen, who He said it's been a pleasant surprise, was his words. A very smooth for someone as big as he is. Like I said, he called it a pleasant surprise. And that's something, again, I mentioned really, I guess it was last week at the beginning of OTAs, was that we've seen a lot of Braylon Allen as a pass catcher so far for the New York Jets, which they at Wisconsin did not utilize him whatsoever as a pass catcher. Instead, he was pretty much just run up the A gap. Actually, his last year, they kind of changed up stylistically what they were doing offensively. Their offensive line got worse, and he wasn't nearly as productive. But at his strength was kind of just pounding the rock up the middle. So you don't really think Braylon Allen at that size pass catching back, but apparently he's really improved there, and that's going to be something to watch this year. And at practice today, good news, he was making big catches down the field, which, like, again, please utilize this guy. I want as many offensive weapons as humanly possible. And again, it goes back to, I think, Braylon Allen being the front runner to be this team's RB2 behind Breece Hall. I just think, one, from a talent perspective, he's the guy. And number two, if just watch or read the tea leaves and see who he's running with. He's running with the 1s and 2s very often. We have not heard or seen very much of Izzy Abanikanda at all, which is tough for him. Now, granted, that could all change in a month from now, but at the time being, it looks like Braylon Allen is running away with this job. And again, subject to change. We'll see how it goes in the preseason, but he's been very impressive according to people who've watched him at camp. I'll give you some injury stuff from practice. Malachi Corley returned. I know some people were a little bit concerned because he left one of the practices at the end of last week. No practice from Tyron Smith, which is fine by me. They have to keep him on a program. Dallas tried to do that really the last few years to make sure that he was up to par with his health. He is not someone who is going to practice every day. So if you see him off to the side riding a bike, don't panic. Like, that's all a part of his process. And in the regular season, he's not going to practice a whole lot during the week. That's just not where he is at this point in his career. And he wasn't the only one. Breece Hall, Tyron Smith, Jason Brownlee, Irv Charles, Brandon Eccles, and Brady Latham were guys who stood out that did not practice. This is a video that you're going to want to see. Nick Mangold working with Joe Tippmann. Oh, baby, please. Big Joe. Just soak up everything you possibly can from this guy. Nick Mangold's a Ring of Honor Jet, was one of the best, if not the best centers in the sport for close to a decade. Anything this guy is telling you, please, please, please soak it up. I love that Nick Mangold is there working with Joe Tippmann. That brings such a smile to my face. And for Joe, like, I'm really excited about him. I do believe that he can be this team's long-term answer at center. He bounced around on the offensive line a little bit last year, played some center, played some guard. The Jets are putting him in that guard spot. AVT's back at right guard, and at left guard, you bring in John Simpson. So I really just hope that he hits the ground running this year. And to me, the biggest thing he had to improve was the snaps. That was my biggest worry with Joe Tippmann from last year. If he can improve in that area, I think what the Jets are going to try to do in the run game fits perfectly to him. And I think he is good enough as a pass protector. So really exciting for a sophomore season of Joe Tippmann. I think he's going to be really good on the football field this year. Last thing, we haven't seen a video, at least yet as of recording this, but we got an absolutely unreal throw from Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson deep down the field. He kind of threw it across his body, rolling left, throwing right, deep play to Garrett. Like, please, again, for the both of them, please stay healthy. Garrett Wilson deserves so much better. What he's been able to do and how he's been able to produce with quarterbacks like Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, Tim Boyle, Trevor Siemian, Mike White. This guy deserves 17 games or damn close to 17 games with Aaron Rodgers, because if that's the case, like, he might put up 1,400 receiving yards and close to 10 touchdowns, which is just insane production for a Jets wide receiver. We haven't really seen that since you had that one special season from Brandon Marshall. But really, from the time I've been watching the New York Jets, it's very rare that they have, a 1,000-yard receiver. They're usually a ground and pound team on offense, which is fine. And the Jets are going to run the ball a lot, as we know, with Breece Hall. But Garrett Wilson is a special talent, and I think he can really be unleashed with Aaron Rodgers. So there you go. Those are my news and notes from OTAs today. Sound off in the comments. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you guys next time.